Hi, welcome back. It's time to finally make some bread with my sourdough starter. In this bowl, I basically just have my starter, flour, water, and I'm using pink mineral salt. And that's really all it takes to make sourdough. Not a whole lot of ingredients once your starter's all ready to go. And here I'm just mixing all those things together until there's no more dry spots in there. And it's really, yeah, I will post the recipe I used in the comment section so that you can see what it is exactly I used, measurement-wise and everything. I actually made 2 loaves, but here I'm mostly just showing how I made one because I didn't want to do, since it was my first time, I didn't want to do double the ingredients in one bowl and then have to divide it. So I just mixed one at a time. Yes, it took more time that way, but it was my first time. So I figured I should probably just do it the right way. So there would be hopefully no mistakes. But we will see how it turned out in the end. And yeah, einkorn flour does definitely act differently. So because of the low gluten, so you have to do things a little different. If you've ever made bread before, usually there's a lot of kneading that goes into play with bread making. So after it's all mixed, I had to let it rest for a little bit, just so it could maybe, chill. But yeah, so it's all mixed, and shortly after mixing, I think about 15 minutes later, all you do here is you take your hands, you wet them so that your hands don't stick, and you fold it over a few times. And then you let it rest for another 15 minutes after that, and then you do the same thing. Wet your hands, and then you fold it over in half like 4 times. Like I said, there's really not a lot of kneading that goes into it since it's einkorn. The gluten structure is not really gonna change much from kneading. So you just have to just fold it a few times and let it rest a couple times, and you're good to go. I am getting over a cold, so if you hear a little sniffling, yeah, I planned on having this video out last week, but I was getting over a cold, so yeah, that is why this took so long to come out. But yeah, so I just folded it in half, and then I'm going to cover it and let it rest. Folded it in half, I think 4 times. Then I'm gonna let it rest for a bit, and then I will work on it some more. Now I got a floured countertop, and yeah, you always want to flour your countertops, people. It helps to make it not stick. So I am going to try to shape my bread here in just a minute once I get it out of my bowl. A bench scraper or spatula or something will come in handy to try to get it out of the bowl because it is a bit sticky. So I'm using a little bench scraper that came with my Banneton baskets that I bought. Yes, I splurged and bought some Banneton baskets because I wanted to make sure that I had nice shapes to my loaves. See, it's super, super sticky dough. And then all you have to do here, once it's out of the bowl that it was resting in, is just try to get it into a decent shape with your hands, like a nice round-ish shape. I'm trying to work with it, but again, it's sticky, so wetting my hands probably would have helped. I didn't think of that. I should have, because I had to do that for the when I was folding it. So I probably should have wet my hands a little bit. Here I am lifting it, and off camera, I put it in a Banneton basket, as you can see in this upper corner right here. I'm still trying to work on it, trying to get it to look decent. And then it's going to have to proof for a few hours. And then it had, it proofed already for a few hours in the bowl. And then it proofs overnight in the fridge in the basket. And then that is when you put it on your cookie sheet. Or if you have a Dutch oven, probably works better than a cookie sheet. But I did not want to splurge because Dutch ovens aren't cheap. So at this point, I don't have one yet, but hopefully. And as you can already probably tell, I don't know if you can, but I actually overproofed my dough. So my first time making sourdough was not super successful. Yeah, totally overproofed it. It just like kind of spread on the cookie sheets and ended up being like this flat loaf that was not very, well, it was still pretty round, but it just ended up being flat. And here I'm putting extra flour on the top because I did splurge a little bit and I got a bread lame so I could cut pretty patterns, but I had no idea how to use it. So again, another reason my bread didn't look very nice. And the end was I had no idea how to use my bread lame at first, so I was just kind of making random slashes. I wanted to make some pretty leaves, but it didn't turn out quite as I expected. And I, for some reason, was like, it's curved, so maybe I'm not supposed to use the edge. So I was using the corner, which did not cut into it very nicely. It kind of made it like all bumpy and not very good. Plus, since I was trying to film this and I don't have a tripod set up, it made kind of slashing the bread not super easy. But yeah, here you can tell I'm trying to make a leaf pattern, and I also might not have slashed it quite deep enough because again, I was a little scared I'd ruin it. So here it is. I almost dropped my camera at this point. Now you can tell how flat they got because of being overproofed. Almost dropped my camera because that pan is incredibly heavy with the 2 loaves on it, and they're heavy pans to begin with. And here it is, my failed loaves. They were overproofed. They were definitely overcooked as well. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I will not give up on making sourdough. I will see you all next time. Bye!